with a heavy cloud of heavy thoughts inside my heavy head. The neon sign is buzzing with the heavy broken pink. I'm watching how the heavy ice is melting in the sink. The waitress is asleep behind the heavy counter wood. I'm hiding in the heavy corn exactly as I should. The coffee in the heavy mug is completely cold and black. A heavy bit of mirror that is looking right on back. The heavy jukebox standing with the heavy lights turned off. The silence interrupted by a heavy distant cough. A heavy sanctuary on the edge of heavy town, where the heavy broken angels slowly wander down. Lost inside the diner in the middle of the night, bathed inside the heavy and the artificial light, staring at the heavy rain against the heavy glass, watching all the heavy hours beautifully pass. Oh, under neon glow, moving very slow. Heavy cup of stone, sitting here alone. I built a heavy tower out of heavy sugar packs, ignoring all the heavy and the terrifying facts. The heavy salt is spilling on the sticky heavy floor. Nobody is walking through the heavy swinging door. The kitchen grill is heavy, cold and absolutely clean. The most heavy isolation that I have ever seen. I fold my heavy napkin in a heavy little square, pretending that I have a heavy reason to be there. The heavy jukebox standing with the heavy lights turned off. The silence interrupted by a heavy distant cough. A heavy sanctuary on the edge of heavy town, where the heavy broken angels slowly wander down. Lost inside the diner in the middle of the night, bathed inside the heavy and the artificial light, staring at the heavy rain against the heavy glass, watching all the heavy hours beautifully pass. I leave a heavy crumpled bill upon the heavy wood, for heavy services and heavy imaginary food. The heavy bell above the door is ringing as I stand, but I don't wanna step out to the heavy lonely land. The highway is a heavy and a quiet black snake, waiting for a heavy lonely heart that it can break. I'll just sit right back down inside the heavy red seat and surrender to the heavy and the solitary beat. Lost inside the diner in the middle of the night, Standing in the heavy tunnel made of heavy glass, watching all the heavy ancient shadows slowly pass. The water is a heavy and a mesmerizing blue, illuminating heavy silence stepping over you. The filter pumps are humming with the heavy deep bass, a heavy deep vibration in this heavy empty space. A heavy silver shark is sliding softly overhead, a heavy quiet phantom coming back from the dead. The surface is a heavy and a terrifying roof. The heavy pressure is the only heavy living proof. I press my heavy hands against the freezing heavy pain, washing out the heavy memories inside my brain. Lost inside the heavy blue of the quiet aquarium, trapped inside the heavy and the watery pendulum, suspended in the dark without a heavy breath of air. A heavy isolation that is beautiful and rare. In the deep dark blue, nothing slipping through. Heavy waterway, a heavy quiet state. The heavy glowing jellyfish are pulsing in the dark, leaving on my heavy eyes a phosphorescent mark. The heavy ray is flying like a heavy quiet ghost in this heavy underwater world I love the most. There are no heavy children screaming at the heavy glass, just a heavy, solitary, terrifying mass. I wanna break the heavy wall and let the water crash, and turn my heavy body to a heavy silent ass. The surface is a heavy and a terrifying roof. The heavy pressure is the only heavy living proof. I press my heavy hands against the freezing heavy pain, washing out the heavy memories inside my brain. Lost inside the heavy blue of the quiet aquarium, trapped inside the heavy and the watery pendulum, suspended in the dark without a heavy breath of air. A heavy isolation that is beautiful and rare. Doesn't care about a heavy heart. It tears the heavy, complicated human lines apart. I am tapping heavily upon a heavy, thick clear, trying to communicate my heavy, quiet fear. The heavy giant eyes looking back into my soul, swallowing my heavy pieces, making me completely whole. I am drowning heavily without a heavy drop of sea, finding all the heavy absolute tranquility. Lost inside the heavy blue of the quiet aquarium, trapped inside the heavy and the watery pendulum, suspended in the dark without a heavy breath of air. A heavy isolation that is beautiful and rare. Deep down, deep down, heavy glass, don't breathe. Forgetting how a heavy living person ought to feel. The fluorescent heavy lights are clicking on with a snap as I walk deeper into this heavy orange trap. Thousands of the heavy doors, exactly all the same, hiding heavy boxes with a heavy forgotten name. I am walking slowly to the heavy unit 10, a place where I will never have to see the world again. The climate control is blowing heavy and so dry, preserving all the heavy things that people let die. A heavy mausoleum for the heavy broken past, where the heavy silence is completely built to last. Buried in the heavy corridors of the storage space, hiding all my heavy memories without a face, locking up my heavy heart behind the metal roof. A heavy hibernation for a heavy, tired soul. Behind the orange door, sleeping on the floor, sleeping on the floor. Heavy padlock key, hiding all of me. I slide the heavy metal door, it screeches in the dark, leaving in the heavy dust a heavy lonely mark. I sit upon a heavy box of heavy photographs, echoing with heavy and completely silent laughs. The concrete heavy floor is beautifully cold and bare. I am breathing in the heavy and forgotten stale air. No one ever comes to visit heavy aisle 4. I could stay here heavily and never ask for more. The climate control is blowing heavy and so dry, preserving all the heavy things that people let die. A heavy mausoleum for the heavy broken past, where the heavy silence is completely built to last. Buried in the heavy corridors of the storage space, hiding all my heavy memories without a face, locking up my heavy heart behind the metal roof. A heavy hibernation for a heavy, tired soul. I pull the heavy metal door completely to the ground, trapping myself heavily without a single sound. The motion sensor light above me heavily turns black, and I am never, ever, ever, ever going back. The heavy outside world is burning in a heavy fire, but I am disconnected from the heavy deep desire. Heavy piece of inventory on the concrete floor, safely locked forever, completely behind the door. Buried in the heavy corridors of the storage space, hiding all my heavy heavy empty shops and heavy squares. The escalator motor is completely shut and dead. A heavy perfect silence is settling in my head. The heavy glass ceiling shows a heavy silver moon, illuminating all the heavy shadows way too soon. The heavy plastic mannequins are staring from the glass, watching all the heavy hours beautifully pass. The heavy fountain water drops echoing around, the most beautiful and heavy and empty temple sound. The consumer heavy heaven is completely black and dark. I am leaving on the heavy steps, a lonely mark. Stuck upon the heavy stairs inside the sleeping mall, listening to the heavy silence and the empty calls. Spend it in the middle of a heavy fake night, hiding in the shadows of the heavy silver light. On the metal tread, where the dreams are dead. Heavy marble floor, like the heavy door. The heavy artificial palm trees standing in a row, reflecting in the heavy polished granite down below. I lean my heavy back against the heavy rubber rail, a heavy tiny detail in the heavy empty tail. If I climb the heavy steps, I'll reach the upper tier, but I prefer to sit completely isolated here. The heavy speakers hanging from the heavy metal roof are completely silent, like a heavy living proof. The heavy fountain water drops echoing around, the most beautiful and heavy and empty temple sound. The consumer heavy heaven is completely black and dark. I am leaving on the heavy steps, a lonely mark. Stuck upon the heavy stairs inside the sleeping mall, listening to the heavy silence and the empty calls. Suspended in the middle of a heavy fake night, hiding in the shadows of the heavy silver is sleeping in his heavy chair. He doesn't even know that I am heavy sitting there. I close my heavy eyes and let the heavy silence creep, falling very heavily into a heavy sleep. This heavy empty palace is a heavy empty tomb, a heavy beautiful and a heavy quiet room. I wanna be a heavy statue standing in the hall, never feeling any heavy pain or hurt. To the heavy silence and the up the heavy, empty pavement like the dead. The heavy iron railing is freezing in my hand. I am stranded heavily in this heavy, empty land. The heavy swimming pool below is completely dry and cracked. A heavy, lonely picture of a heavy, broken fact. The heavy television static whispers from the room. A heavy white noise cutting through the heavy midnight gloom. I have a heavy plastic key inside my heavy coat. A heavy isolation castle floating in a moat. Hiding in the heavy shadows of the cheap motel. A heavy, quiet heaven in the heavy, lonely hell. Watching for heavy headlight in the heavy dark, waiting for the heavy silence, just to leave a mark by the empty road. Such a heavy load. Heavy neon blink. Standing on the brink. The heavy curtains blowing through the heavy open door. A heavy lonely shadow dancing on the heavy floor. I don't have a heavy suitcase, don't have a heavy name. I step completely outside of the heavy living game. The ice machine is dropping heavy cubes into the tray. A heavy lonely rhythm of a heavy runaway. The desert heavy wind is carrying a heavy dust, covering my heavy heart in heavy quiet rust. The heavy television static whispers from the room. A heavy white noise cutting through the heavy midnight gloom. I have a heavy plastic key inside my heavy coat. A heavy isolation castle floating in a moat. Hiding in the heavy shadows of the cheap motel. A heavy, quiet heaven in the heavy, lonely hell. Watching for heavy headlight in the heavy dark, waiting for the heavy silence, just to leave a mark. Heavy in the night, blinding my heavy eyes with the heavy yellow light. It passes by completely and the heavy sound fades out, leaving me in heavy silence and in heavy doubt. I'll step back inside the heavy in the smelling room and lay upon the heavy bed inside the heavy gloom. I'll let the heavy static completely wash my brain until I cannot feel the heavy solitary pain. Hiding in the heavy shadows of the cheap motel. Heavy, quiet heaven in the heavy, lonely hell. Watching for a heavy headlight in the heavy dark, waiting for the heavy silence, just to leave a mark. Room number 7, red neon, empty pool. Shadows on the floor, closing heavy door. Sitting on the heavy seats inside the very back, riding on the heavy tires across the heavy track. The window is a heavy screen of dirty tinted glass, watching all the heavy yellow street lights slowly pass. The pneumatic heavy doors are open into air. There is absolutely nobody who's waiting for us there. The driver is a heavy shadow hiding in the front, a solitary captain on a heavy quiet hunt. The engine pushes forward with the heavy low vibrations, skipping every heavy and deserted lonely station. The sodium light is washing over my heavy tired face, a temporary passenger inside an empty space. Riding on the heavy bus across the sleeping town, feeling all the heavy sorrow slowly coming down. Stepping off, listening to the heavy engine solitary call. In the yellow glow, nowhere left to go. Shadows on the floor, closing heavy door. The vandalism heavy plastic chair, a message from a heavy ghost who used to travel there. I lean my heavy forehead on the freezing window pane, vibrating with the heavy drops of melancholy rain. The heavy route is circular and never really ends, a heavy lonely highway with the heavy lonely bends. I pay the heavy fare to leave my heavy thoughts behind, dissolving in the heavy and the solitary mind. The engine pushes forward with the heavy low vibrations, skipping every heavy and deserted lonely station. The sodium light is washing over my heavy tired face, a temporary passenger inside an empty space. Riding on the heavy bus across the sleeping town, feeling all the heavy sorrow slowly coming down. Stepping off, listening to the heavy engine solitary cough. Inside this heavy moving bed, the terminal is approaching, but I'll pay the fare again and ride into the heavy dark and heavy morning rain. The